Hey guys, welcome back to the Hear Me Roar pod. I am Tobi and my co-host is none other than the Kate Save, which you might know her from Shark Tank. She's also founder of BeFit Foods and picked up Telstra's Business of the Year award too. Kate?
Well, Tobi, you've got a super impressive CV, 25 years in global commercialisation experience, and you founded Creative Cubes, Australia's leading co-working space and real estate business.
All right, let's get on with the pod. Kate, we're back.
We are.
Another week, another pod.
Yeah. Did you get to the ice bath on the weekend?
I actually did. So what I've been doing is Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, and Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
45 minutes of red light sauna.
Oh, I love it.
At 65 degrees.
Yes.
Actually, like, I don't tell anyone this. I haven't shared this with the people at Calm Springs, but I roll out my towel.
Yeah.
And I go to sleep.
Oh, so good.
And 45 minutes.
In the sauna. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not asleep.
Yeah.
There are like probably 10, maybe 15 minutes where I'm out cold.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And then jump in the shower just to get rid of all of the sweat and muck. And then go
So glad to hear you do that. I don't want to go in the ice bath after someone's dirty sweat.
Well, this is what I love about this space, right? Yeah. And I had the same experience down with Kendall.
Oh, yeah?
At Aurora. You know, you kind of clean yourself off before you take the next.
Pause. Had that same experience with Lyndall.
I had the same experience with Lyndall.
Oh, yes.
At Aurora.
Oh, yeah. Aurora Bathhouse in Sorrento.
Where it was like, you want to make sure it's clean and hygienic.
Yeah. I love how they salt scrub you first.
Oh, that was amazing.
You
just feel so smooth.
And you feel smooth for days, don't you? I'm like, I need that bowl of salt in my shower.
And you go to Recovery Lab.
Yes.
Bruce McFarlane's family one.
I love the Recovery Lab for that reason. Get my own little private contrast room. So go between the ice bath and the sauna.
You also go out in the bay. I've seen you out in the bay.
I love the bay. The bay's, look, that's probably my number one, but it's not cold enough now. I've actually hardened the mind, kind of like your David Goggins.
Yeah, I like that. Callous the mind.
Absolutely. And now I don't find it cold at all. Like I can walk in and my body doesn't get that bit where you get to your belly button and you want to stop. Yeah. It just keeps going. And I'm like, oh, it's not quite cold enough yet.
Yeah, I understand. Well, I got to tell you, it's been 3 months. I've been consistent Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Haven't missed a beat. When I've been on the road traveling, I'll make up. I either go the day before or the day after. Sometimes I'll do a Saturday and a Sunday to sort of make up for it. I'm learning that you don't need to have that much exposure to ice on a weekly basis, like sort of like 7 to 12 minutes, I think is more than enough. I'm in there for 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Our viewers will appreciate that.
Yes.
3 times a week. So I'm like well above sort of like the average in terms of the need. And I'm feeling amazing. Like there is so much pressure on me right now at work.
Yeah.
But this is a good hour of time out 3 times a week. I've actually gifted a couple of key people. A friend of mine who actually is one of my lawyers as well, Rob Oxley. I saw him at a party a couple of weeks back, at a kids' party actually a couple of weeks back. And I just got out of the sauna and the ice bath and went to this party and I saw him. And then the next day I went back and I bought him a gift certificate. And I said, man, I feel amazing and I want you to feel amazing too. So he's now on it. And I've also gifted our CEO, Michael Benson.
Oh, so good.
He's a marathon runner and always hobbling. And I'm like, mate, you need to get in the recovery.
Your joints feel so much better. I've got an idea for us actually. Have you seen the new Wanderlust event?
No.
Oh my goodness, Radix Sali's thing.
No.
He's got Wim Hof there and it's 2 days at the Royal Pines in the Gold Coast. I'm signing up for the Platinum. It is, I want to say it's the 25th, 26th of October, like it's soon-ish. It's a Saturday, Sunday, and they have literally the best of the best health experts in the world and Wim Hof himself teaching us how to ice bath.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Southeast Melbourne Phoenix aren't playing.
Yes, I knew that sounded like
maybe
a
they're playing Brisbane.
Date.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe they play Brisbane that weekend and I can duck off to the coast.
Yes.
Anyway, coming up after the break, we have an amazing guest who reached out to me on LinkedIn. His name's Joel Hines.
I've seen a TED talk by him actually. Yeah.
Let's uncover all of this after the break. But first, a message from Rise. Guys, I want to introduce you to Rise, a business cohort like no other. So what is the Rise Network? Rise Network is a curated inner circle of 10 to 12 like-minded peers designed to provide a confidential, high-trust environment where business owners and leaders can gain strategic insights, actionable solutions, and lasting relationships. Rise isn't just networking, it's a game-changing business support system. It has strategic problem solving built in, expert facilitation, actionable insights, long-term impact and authentic relationships, and it's based exclusively around high-trust cohorts. For your membership, you gain full access to Creative Cubes. That means you can drop in when you're on the run to use the meeting rooms, breakout spaces, or even just dock in for the day. We wanted to serve the underserved, the people that do need the help, do need the support, don't necessarily have the funds to be able to do it, and don't necessarily fit into one of these other organizations. And so that's where Rise kind of came from. So there you have it, guys. Go to werise.au, and I hope to see you at one of our cohorts soon. Joel, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks so much for both of you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate you reaching out. I think, as I was thinking about segment one, when you reached out to me, you wrote a little note to say, that my story had resonated, my vulnerability in front of about my daughter and all the rest of it really spoke to you, and your message was really kind and warm. And as I was talking with Kate, actually, I think all of that stuff has resolved itself now. So on reflection, amazing. Firstly, I'm glad you're here, but just to round out our little LinkedIn DM, Maddie's doing great, and I feel like that's the least of my worries these days, which is fantastic. But thank you for reaching out, and welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks. And yeah, it was a pleasure. And like I think I said in the message, like it was just really great to hear that authentic story from you. And these are the things that make us human, like these everyday things that happen to all of us.
Yep.
And so much of the time, I think on social media and all these other platforms that we've got, people see the best bits.
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't really feel like, well, what's actually really going on for people? And that ability for you to actually just share authentically what was going on for you and your daughter.
Yep.
As a parent myself, like I've had those moments, so
Sure.
I get it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Look, I mean, part of Hear Me Roar is also, the roar is ROAR. So I want to hear your story and hear you roar. But also I want to hear you roar, RAW. Like I want to be, like we want to take people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And this segment will only come out in a few weeks' time. And right now, as we filmed, we've had, and this is not a political thing, but like they've had a lot of negativity around Charlie Kirk over the last sort of 72 hours and beyond. Social media is actually bringing out the worst of us right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can say that. Again, I'm not going into the politics. It's not
Sure.
what we're here for. But it's actually, for me, I wear my heart on my sleeve. And so I'm riding with the highs and the lows. I'm riding high when Tesla and Elon are doing great things, trying to change the world and progress us. And I'm equally riding the lows when my daughter Maddie, or in this case, Charlie Kirk, was taken out on a belief or a conversation that someone didn't like. So they decided just to end his life. I just think that's quite rough.
True.
Every Monday, I actually get together with my wider team. And I didn't have the headspace for it today. There's just too much going on. And I wanted to know from you, I mean, you speak with a lot of leaders, what's the pulse that you're seeing right now in the world, and some of the work that you're doing? Why are people reaching out to you?
I think the main piece behind the work that I do and why people sort of seek me out, I guess, is this sense of disconnection that we're feeling. Social media and technology and all those sort of things are designed to connect us, and in some ways we are more connected than ever. And yet there's this loneliness epidemic. There's people feeling isolated. You've got remote and hybrid work situations where people just aren't feeling kind of like that sense of real connection. And so the people that I speak to are really seeking that, and it may not be the words that they use sometimes, but reading between the lines, you can kind of sense that that's what it's all about. And getting people together in the same room together and actually having experiences together is, I guess, what I'm all about, you know, and sharing their stories.
I think it's really interesting in the workplace when you've got people that are there that want to give them their full selves and be vulnerable, but then you've got people that intentionally want to sit on the outside of that and not let you in. And I find that really difficult in the workplace.
So I'm actually going in the reverse at the moment, which is probably part of my struggle. I've started this company to problem solve for a lot of other people and take care of a lot of other people and really go far, not only for my members, but equally as far for my staff. And Kate, sometimes it just doesn't work out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I'm having a hard time because now I'm sort of being indirectly forced through an environment to sort of, that's work and this is home.
Ooh,
and I am a person that struggles because it's like there's no off switch for me.
Out for me too.
Right?
When I did the disc, my fatal flaw from the assessor was you need to be a different person at home as you are at work, and I am identical.
Yeah, I'm the same.
We just are who we are, and
work for me is almost like a piece of art. So I want to be authentic with who I am and how I deliver that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately at scale, I think we were talking just before we started rolling, you know, as you start to scale your organization, the terrain's very different.
It is.
And what got you from 0 to 50 may not take you from 50 to 100 or 150. And there's different skills, there's different knowledge, there's different people, there's all these extremities that are coming at you all at once. And honestly, it's a lot. It's sensory overload for me right now.
Yeah, it's something in what both of you have shared there, and it takes me back to a time when I was studying. So this is way back when. I was studying occupational therapy and I was doing a placement up in Queensland. And I was there for 3 months. So I was living in this little apartment block and I was in between 2 truck drivers. And this one truck driver just kept saying, you got to come out on the road with me. You got to come out and experience this. I'm like, I was, 20 something and going, this is an experience I'm never going to have again. So why not? Went out on the road with him and we're driving down this highway and he goes, do you hear that, mate? Do you hear that? I'm like, what? And he's like, the turbo, mate, the turbo. And I was just like, this guy really loves what he does, And I said to him, you really enjoy your job, don't you? And he says, mate, you spend half your life working. If you don't enjoy your work, you don't enjoy your life.
Yep.
And for me, a large part of that is the people that you spend the time with. And you look at it statistically, you think, how many hours am I actually spending with other people other than my family? And so, it's really interesting, this question, who am I? At work, at home, in between, socially, whatever it might be. And I would argue that we're all the same, in all of those aspects. Maybe we sort of mold and change our personalities a little bit. But the people there are the most richest, deepest experience that we have and resource that we have.
Totally.
And so as you scale and grow, understanding, knowing your people and being able to motivate, understand them and get them behind your mission is part of what it is that you need to do. So you may have had the best technical idea, this big idea that you've taken to market and it's going great guns. But how can you scale? You're going to have to bring more people in because we know that we can't do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
So how do I impart that sort of mission, purpose and passion that I have into the people that are around me? Well, okay, you've got selection criteria and you've got, a certain mindset of people that you want. But how do I build that culture of safety and trust? Mm-hmm. And from an anthropological perspective, culture is built on symbols, structures and practices. And so what are those 3 things that you're building within your org? How are you creating the situation where people can come together through these regular practices? And it could be as simple as like a Monday morning check-in, not what's going on for the week, but how are you? What's actually going on? Through to, celebrating wins, shouting people out for, going above and beyond, or just, behaving in a way that's in alignment with the values or the passion or the purpose of the organisation. Small little practices, but creating those structures around them. And maybe there's some symbols. Maybe your logo is a symbol that actually sort of says all about what you do.
Super interesting because a friend of mine that I had over yesterday was like, I was like, man, there's some really tough things going on. He's like, yeah, but he goes, people get comfort because of you're trading on your reputation. people know who you are. People know about your brand. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. But like, that doesn't make me feel whole. I still feel hollow navigating some of these situations at the moment.
Yeah.
And there is a point to play on that, but it's not what I recognize being deep in the engine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And in those leadership positions, sometimes you don't have, full transparency to everyone about everything that's going on, right?
Yeah.
And so having those mechanisms where you can actually share, authentically what's going on, whether that's, outside the work or whether it's within your team within.
Yeah.
I would argue that authentic approach and actually sharing parts of your story is what's going to enable you to, one, feel like you're not having all that burden on yourself, but two, get the support that you need in order to get through some of those tough times.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, leadership is tough and lonely sometimes.
So tough and so lonely.
Yeah. Do you know the thing that comes to mind for me is you can't control other people's reactions, but you can control your own reaction. Yes. So I think if you're leading authentically and you get rid of all your baggage, I don't know, is there something in that? You can't control them, but you can control you. So you should, do what makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
It's so hard though, guys. This isn't a therapy session for me, but like I dropped Maddie to school this morning and I was telling her about stuff. She's like, Dad, that's so cool.
Aww.
And I was like, I'm really excited about something that's happening. Hopefully I'll be able to break news in a little while on it. Not on this show, but today, but maybe in a few episodes time. And she goes, Dad, do you think people look at you and go, man, he's so cool? I go, I hope so, but I don't look at me like that, Maddie, because I'm just too deep inside that's inside the engine room that I don't get to appreciate what I deliver to you sitting in front of you today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe really the team need to talk back to you more. So you're all ears, no talking, and get them to talk to you because I think you'll hear it. They are here because of you.
Oh, for sure. No, I recognize that and I recognize my position. I'm trying to lean on the sort of world that Joel lives in right now because I get it. We have 15,000 different members across 12 sites at the moment, scaling. There's tons of transactions that happen on a daily basis just because people are booking for all types of things.
Yeah.
There are lots of different extremities. I just had the Department of Parliament call me and say, our internet's down. We're running the government and they work out of one of my sites. I won't disclose where and when. And our phones aren't working. So I'm like, holy shit. So I quickly call tech. I'm like, hey guys, Parliament's down. We got to, we're trying to run the country at the moment. And I got back, actually, they operate on their own 4G chip. It's got nothing to do with us because of security.
So good.
But that moment of panic, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we got here, but I get it, man. Like it's tough and lonely.
It is, and I think that creating permission by sharing your story first or sharing where you're at first gives your team and other people permission to actually share what's actually really going on for them. Yeah. Culture is everyone's responsibility, but really, like, they'll take cues from the leaders. Leaders, how they show up, like it or not, they're role models, right? And so how they actually behave and act is how you're going to set the tone. And so how can you create that inclusivity, that sense of safety, that sense of trust within your team if you're not willing to exercise those practices yourself?
100%.
And so really sort of as founders, leaders, entrepreneurs, it's like, really taking a moment to think about, how do I actually show up? What's my emotional intelligence? How am I checking in with my team to ensure that they're all good as well? Whether you actually have a first name basis with the tech team or not, that's part of those practices, right? It's like understanding who your people are.
Totally.
So that when you get the call or you have to make the call, they kind of know there's something, there, whether they know your daughter Maddie or whether they know some other parts of your life that's more than just Tobi, who, if I get a call from him, got to freak out a little bit,
Quite the opposite, yeah. Here in this world, my team are amazing, and my role is not to have them report up to me, but actually for me to be able to support them and help lift them up.
Yeah.
Dare I say rise, help them rise.
Absolutely.
Kate, you said you'd watched or heard a TED Talk?
Yeah, and building connections, telling stories. And I just think everything that you said resonated because I felt connected to your talk as you were talking about it. So
yeah, thank you. I think a lot of it stems from, my kind of wound as a teenager of belonging. Like I didn't feel belonging as a young person. And I think as young people...
Can I ask why though?
Why? Because I didn't feel like I fitted into any particular group. And so as a result, what I ended up doing was probably adapting and molding my behavior to try and suit each different group.
Bang.
And not really sort of like vulnerability or authenticity it wasn't a currency that people understand, because what it's about in those years is really fitting in rather than belonging. Yeah. I choose to sort of think about the difference between the two as being accepted for actually who you are, authentically who you are, no matter what. Yes. And that's a bit different to actually doing things, sometimes stupid stuff, in order just to fit in with the crowd.
Man, that totally speaks to me, right? So here at Cubes, we exist to enable success. We do that by creating a sense of belonging. Yeah. So to reflect back on what you're saying, I never felt like I belonged either. I'm an entrepreneur that thinks differently to other people. Yeah. Sometimes I actually have a hard time. I have a hard time communicating with the accountants and the bankers, right? Because I just don't think in the cells and the spreadsheets. Yes. Yeah. And then, maybe not at 18 or 19 or, as old as 23, was that the issue, but it was just a way in which I thought. And so, I've tried to create a space, not only here in South Melbourne, but across our network, where everyone feels like they belong and they're celebrated for who they are, not tolerated for who they are.
Exactly.
And we have a big focus point on that in our culture. We do this philanthropic give called Pitch for a Spot in October. On the 23rd of October, we're giving away, we'll tip over $1 million worth of free rent and access to our community over the last 9 years. Amazing. But we do that to enable people, to bring them in and enable their success. And the power from that is, I don't really care if you're a billionaire and you're a jerk. There's no amount of money that can get you in. And on the flip side, I don't care if you've even got $1 to your name, because I'll work out a way, whether it's via Pitch for a Spot or other ways, to help you come in and enable you that way, right? And so enabling people's success has been the primary, but I really want people to come here and feel celebrated for who they are. Yeah. And I think that speaks to...
Absolutely. So I wrote a book, which I think I sent you a copy to have a bit of a look through. And the main premise behind that is a 5-step sort of framework in order to hold space for other people, and whether that's in your teams, in your personal lives, wherever it might be. I've used it a lot with my son, actually.
How old is he?
He's 15.
Great.
Yeah, great age, actually. Yes. Pushing all the boundaries in the right ways at the moment. Good. But he's also thriving, which is great.
Amazing.
But my framework is the acronym THRIVE. So T is for tell stories. So, that's the first part. By telling our own stories, we create permission for others to share their own. If someone then starts to share their story with you, H is for hear them out. So actually take the time to listen. Active listening is such an underrated skill, I think, that we can use in our stakeholder meetings, if we're making, pitches or sales, all those sorts of things, right down to, customer complaints and all those sorts of things. Totally. Just listening is such a powerful tool.
My wife coins the term 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen.
That's it.
Twice as much as you speak.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So hear.
Yeah. And then R is for refrain. And refrain is refrain from actually feeling like you need to fix it. And actually just being with what is actually there. Sometimes people just need to be heard rather than actually a solution.
Totally.
I'm a self-professed fixer and just ask my wife.
The
amount of times she sort of said, I don't need you to fix me right now. I just need you to listen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know the one.
Are you in my lounge room or am I in yours?
I is for inquire. So asking some, curious questions to sort of follow up in shows that you're listening and also enables you to kind of understand a bit deeper and a bit more. Repeat those steps above. V is for validate. So validation doesn't mean you have to agree with whatever someone's saying, but you can agree or validate their experience because it's very real for them.
Yep.
And so how can you find a way to sort of say, look, I hear you, and that sounds really difficult. That sounds really tough, whatever it might be. I haven't had that experience before myself.
Yep.
And then E is for encourage. And you know, I always love, and particularly in any team that I've been a part of, any sort of leadership position, how can I lift up? And I love that idea that you sort of mentioned a couple of times, you know, bringing out what's best in people. You know, that strengths-based approach is so critical. And all the people that I've seen, from teenagers right through to adults, you know, that idea, we all just want to be seen. We want to feel like people understand us, they hear us, they respect us, all that sort of stuff. And so lifting them up and naming what it is that they do really, really well is such a critical game changer in my experience, to bring people up, you know, and empower them to be the best selves.
You know, when I first started this company, Kate, our org chart was actually flipped upside down. The CEO was at the bottom. That was me. And my happiness team, which are front facing the customer every single day, or the member every single day, they're at the top. Yeah. And it's about lifting them up and making sure that they're not reporting to me. That I didn't hire them to tell them what to do. I hired them so they could tell me what they need, what their needs are to enable them. And it's been quite powerful for us. I know in reality it doesn't truly work that way. You know, it doesn't sit on my shoulders anymore in totality. It sits on Michael's shoulders as the CEO, but very, very powerful. And you said something as well while you were talking, the reinforcement aspect. You know, I spent 15 years in the pet industry, and dare I say, it wasn't the pretty end of the dog. It was the peas and the poos I was focused on. I ran a dog business called Pet Loo, which is exactly what it sounds like, pet toilet. And it was all about positive reinforcement.
Right.
And it was, you could get the dog to do anything you wanted so long as you positively reinforced it. And that was a massive thing. When Maddie and Harper were born, you know, I never reprimand them for doing the wrong thing. I redirect them to what they're doing right and try and push away from the stuff that they're not doing right. And that's been quite a powerful thing as well in leadership.
Absolutely. And I, on that point, I think as humans, we have a propensity to kind of focus on the negative. You know, like we're our own worst critics. You know, if we muck up, we know it. We don't need someone else to point it out. You know, sure, there's that opportunity for course correction and, like, you know, a bit of feedback in a different way you could maybe approach things. But really, like, when we actually hear that positive, a couple of things might happen. Number one is, like, people might go, actually, I didn't realize that I did that thing, so I'm going to maybe try and do that more.
Totally.
Or it's validation of, oh yeah, I know that about myself. I need to kind of live into that even, you know, more fully. And you see people just like lift, you know, when you focus on those things, and you can name and whatever. I worked in education for a while, and they would say it was 5 positives to counteract 1 negative. And, like, you know, you think about that, you know, at school, like how many times are people being told off or told they're doing the wrong thing, whatever, you know, and consciously we need, you know, people to be giving them those 5 strengths or affirmations of the things that they're doing in order so they don't focus on that 1 negative thing. You know, how many times have you done something, whether it be a pitch, a presentation, you know, a sales meeting, whatever, and you're going through in your head, like, you're forgetting all the things that you did really well. You're focusing on that one thing where you slipped up or, you know, you didn't do the right thing.
Are you a glass half full kind of guy?
Look, I look at a glass and I go, there's opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how I look at it.
For my nephew, I bought him 1 share. He turned 13. It's a big deal for a Jewish boy. And he, for his bar mitzvah, I bought him 1 share, which sounds like 1 share. It was $600 and something US in Tesla.
Yeah.
And I went, mate, I'm giving you this for your bar mitzvah. And he was like, but what if it goes less?
Yeah.
I was like, and what if it goes 10x?
That's it.
And he was like, you think you could do that? And I shifted his mind.
Yeah.
But he saw it as, should I cash it because it's worth 600 US now? And, like, that's as good as it gets. In the process, by the way, this was maybe like 8-9 years ago. So it's gone. I think he's split shares twice already. So 1 share is now worth 20.
Wow.
And it's coming into an all-time high probably in the next week. So it's gone up. But the point of the conversation is I gave it to him and his reaction was, what if it goes to 0? And I was like, and what if it goes to the moon?
Yeah.
And so that's been my relationship with him, where he will constantly, not necessarily anymore, say the negative because I'm there.
Yeah.
So he'll think about the positive, but, like, for a long time he was, and I'm a glass half full. In fact, there can be a drop in the glass, and I'll spin up something great about it.
See the opportunity.
Yeah. I know sometimes it's like someone accused me once of having blind optimism, which I think was valid potentially at the time in the case.
Oh, can I say I've been called a delusional optimist.
Yes.
And I know it's meant to be negative, but I can't see the negative in it.
Yes.
I'm like, the delusion is you can't see it.
Yes.
That's the delusion.
That's
I can
great.
and you can't.
That's great. And you carried in your stride.
Yeah.
So
well, there's an interesting dynamic between like your gift and your curse, right?
Oh.
And they're so closely related. Like for me, my fear and my self-doubt, the things that, you know, when I'm in that negative zone, like is the thing that's drawing me down. But what that then informs is my dependability, because I want to do a good job. I want to do good things for people, right? So in order to counteract that fear and that self-doubt, I'll go over and above, you know, and so I think those two things can kind of play with each other at times, and sometimes our greatest fears or our greatest sort of, you know, weaknesses, I suppose, can also inform our strengths and the things that we do really well. So that's a little key tip, I guess, is to think about, like, if you see sort of some deficits, what are they actually informing? How are they actually showing up in a positive way?
Are you a spiritual person, or are you like, is this a business? Are you wearing a business coaching hat or advisory hat at the moment that you'll take off and, you know, you'll be not someone different? Or is this something that's woven into your DNA?
I think it's woven into my DNA. Like I don't think the hat comes off or goes on in many ways. From a spiritual lens. Like, you know, I believe in something greater.
Yes.
And I believe that we're all here for a purpose, and there is something at play that is helping to guide us. What that is, I wouldn't call it a God. I wouldn't call it anything else in particular. But like there is definitely an energetic that I feel that informs how I show up.
Totally.
And how I follow my intuition.
Yes.
And that's taken a long time. Like there's been a lot of conditioning over many, many years that has sort of like, you know, made me feel like I have to know all the answers and all this sort of stuff. And now I'm a lot more open to opportunity, possibility, and also being guided by what I actually feel really strongly, intuitively.
So very interesting. I'm very spiritual. I believe that we are bouncing into people, not physically, but coming across each other's paths very intentionally. And I'm trying to, every time I connect with someone, I'm trying to figure out what's the big picture here. What's the big picture? With you specifically, I think your book is very powerful. So I want to link that for people because, and I'm not a reader, by the way. I like the audiobooks or the podcast. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But I'm going to read your book because, one, you took the time to send me a little note in it, which I'm very grateful for. Two, I think what you're saying is actually on point as to maybe the macro environment that I'm in right now. And so I really want to immerse myself in that.
Timing's everything, isn't it? You can read books, but until you need it, it won't, the words don't mean the same.
Yes.
So true, yeah.
But equally, you don't go to the doctor until something's not right, yeah?
You should have gone to the doctor earlier, so maybe that's
and you should stay on top of it. But but actually on the weekend, I did a ChatGPT search. And I said, does my birthday, which is next month in October, have any correlation to my inability to switch off and be
We've got a similar birthday, so tell me the answer.
Pursuit. And I was curious to know whether or not you've looked at numeracy and those sorts of things as part of your body of work.
I've looked at a lot of things, and one of the things that I regularly go to is tarot cards of some sort. And not from a kind of, you know, there's a woo-woo kind of potentially connotation around that. But what I find with those sorts of things is it helps guide my thinking.
Yes.
And give me something to consider that perhaps I wouldn't have considered otherwise. And to your point, like synchronicities in me, like I don't believe in coincidences. I believe there are synchronicities that are happening for a reason.
Yes.
Just this morning, I've been back and forth with this woman that we've been trying to connect, you know, go out for a coffee and catch up properly. And we were supposed to meet today and it got cancelled because, you know, something happened, blah, blah, blah. I'm walking down the street in Balaclava, bump into her.
Yeah,
you know, like, and we were meant to connect, just the timing wasn't right. And so we had a bit of a kind of a conversation. Now we're going to meet in a couple of weeks' time. So that's just one example of one of those things that it just felt like, you know, we were supposed to have that connection, have that meeting.
Yep.
But
I feel about that right about now with you.
Yeah, right.
So like, I'm grateful that you reached out. I would embrace anyone that reaches out, really. But most of the time it's kind of like, nice to connect, look forward to, you know, learning more about you as things fall into my stream.
Yep.
It was different with you. That
You.
message, and then your book, and then the fact that you're sitting here. Then I think about the wider environment that I'm involved in. I think that some of the stuff you're saying is actually reinforcing, but actually some of it is giving me a bit more structure as well.
Great.
So that I know what to pull and push when I'm in that moment.
For sure.
Yeah, oh, amazing. When you talked about tarot cards, I've only done them twice, and the lady who recently did it for me at a health retreat, actually at Gwingana, she said to me, now the answers aren't in the cards. And I go, well, what do you mean? She goes, no, the answers are in you. You have the answers. I'm pulling out the cards. You need to find the answers. And I went, oh, now I get it. It's not woo-woo, because how can... Cards don't have the answers to anything, but the answer's in here, and I loved that. Then I went, I'll take this more seriously, because I actually understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to make me find my own answers.
We might be going way off the deep end here. When I say we, I'm dragging you in. Clairvoyancy, does that play a role in your world?
Well, look, it's not something I'm open to it, but it's not something I've really explored. Yeah. But I think, you know, to your point, Kate, the sense of as humans, we're sense-making beings, right? And we want to make sense of things, and we can't do that all by just our own story. We need some outside influences. You know, I don't know if you've ever been on holiday and suddenly got this inspiration for this bright idea. You know, like that happens to me all the time, right? When you create space. Yeah. And different influences, different environment, you know, things actually, you know, suddenly start to percolate and create. And I often find with, you know, leaders, you know, and founders and entrepreneurs as well, like, you know, one of the best pieces of advice I give to them sometimes if they're stuck is to say, well, go for a walk on the beach, or go out into the nature, go out into the bush, you know, because those things are where you're going to actually start to make sense of, you know, what's actually real and what's going on. And so whether it's clairvoyancy or tarot, you know, there's an opportunity, I think, just to open yourself up to another possibility.
Yep.
And in this world, multiple perspectives is how we actually grow and learn. And part of that is sharing our own story, right? Yeah. So when we share our story, we are able to help other people understand us more.
Yes.
But maybe also they might understand themselves more.
Yes.
As well as a result.
And the number one thing people say to me when I say, why don't you try this or try that, is, I don't have time. Well, next time you think you don't have time, that is the perfect time to do it. That's when you do it anyway. So if you think you don't have time, then you need it. You just need to do it anyway.
Absolutely.
So, Joel, is your book available online?
Yes. So my book, Holding Space, is available on my website, but it's also available on Amazon as well.
Holding Space, guys. I'll put it all in the show notes for you to be able to just click and take you right there. We'll be back after this from Luna.
weareluna.co is a great place for you and your business to start off with phenomenal accounting and legal services. So if you're a startup or a scale-up looking for legal and finance support, or alternatively looking to raise capital, weareluna.co is where you need to be starting off.
Kate, amazing.
So good. And the synchronicity, can I say, I'm going to give you my bracelets for today. I got this on my health retreat.
Yes.
The symbol on it, when Joel was talking about symbols, is a helix, which is like a ladder that's got the rungs and then it's twisted.
Yes.
And the idea of the helix is to connect and to shape and to keep changing and keep evolving.
Got it.
And, you know, it's in all of us, it's in our DNA. And when he said symbol, no, it's yours to wear today.
Thank you.
There you go.
It's on.
And that connection, I think it's so important.
You know, I'm seeing a lot of this at the moment. You know, we started this business working group called Rise. And whilst I'm the founder, I actually go in there as a customer.
Yeah.
Because we do have expert facilitation there, and it's a great way for me to be able to immerse myself. I have the need as much as my members have the need.
Oh, we all do.
You know, and I think a lot of people look at me, and I know James looks at me for inspiration and support, but, you know, I also look at James for inspiration.
Yeah.
You know, and my members look at me, and I'm looking at my members, and my staff are looking at me, and I'm looking at my staff, and all these things, they add up to a positive outcome, but they all add up and they're all relevant and relative. I love what he's about. I loved his softness in his approach towards me. He had heard one of our episodes before and reached out, said it touched him. I think it was with Omar, the meeting with Omar, or the episode Omar Da Silva, who's an absolute star. He's doing some really cool things at the moment as well. I'll link him in to the show notes as well, because he's doing some great stuff for charities.
Yeah. But the timing, how good
timing
is that?
Was great.
Yeah.
The content couldn't be more relevant.
Yeah.
And it's not just about like me. I'm seeing thousands of members on a monthly basis through our spaces that all have the same, they're yearning for the same thing. And I go into Rise and I'm hearing, well, I can't talk about what we talk about in Rise, but there's a pattern there.
Yes.
Which ties back to what Joel's saying.
And the name of his book, Holding Space.
Holding Space. It's sitting on my desk.
Yeah.
I'll go get it in a copy.
Take it to Bali.
Oh, when you go to Bali?
Monday.
Oh, okay. I'm away in Fiji on Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll read it when you get back from Fiji.
No. We'll arm wrestle for it. Guys, another great segment. Thank you for having me. Thank you to Joel for coming on the show. And thanks to James at Purpose Productions for all his amazing work too. We'll see you on the next one, guys.
See you then.